went to California for a couple weeks, was training out there, and for the most part training up in Carolina at the facility, and that's about it.
Do anything different, just either for fun or in your training routine?
It's just I think the difference between off-season doing rehab and off-season doing actual training makes a big difference, and you can actually work on your speed, quickness, with everything feeling great and not having to rehab it, and obviously that's a big side to it, and kind of doing everything that I want to do rather than trying to rehab and recover from a surgery. So definitely made a difference, and feel good.
Did you, last off-season, were you ever able to do much in your normal routine?
Yeah, but for the most part, it was just about strengthening everything around the hip and recovering from that. And like I said, it was more of kind of slowly put me in type of thing where I didn't do all OTAs, and in the beginning of camp last year, I had a couple things still lingering from the hip surgery, and didn't do the whole camp and was out I think for a week at one point. So feel great now, feel healthy now, and I'm improving each day.
What's the difference between year one in this system and then second year, and difference between last year's system and your system?
Well, last year was about unlearning North system, and now this year it's about relearning it again. Since I was with them at Minnesota, so it's for me, I'm real familiar with his playbook, and obviously being a few years under that and everything he did. So obviously it's great to have Norv here and everything he's done in the NFL, and obviously I don't have to talk about everything he's done. So it's been great, and it hasn't been that tough a transition with him coming in. So
Matt, schematically, what can Panthers fans expect, I guess, from Norv in this system? What would be different from last year?
I think our goals in offense, like always, is we want to obviously have a lot of yards and score points, most importantly. So as long as we're doing those two things, I think the fans will be happy with that. So
how would you describe Norv?
He's an awesome guy to be around. Obviously, he's been around the NFL and coaching for a long time, and obviously, there's a lot we can learn from him, and it's been great. Like I said, I've been with Norv in the past in Minnesota, so he's a great guy, and he's awesome and fun to be around.
I think he was saying that the terminology is pretty much the same.
For the most part, yeah, for the most part. I mean, obviously, offense coordinators have their lingo that they use here and there because they've been using it for a long time. So, but yeah, for the most part, as far as terminology and what we use in offensive line. So,
how would you assess your first season with these guys last year?
I think I got off to a slow start. I think that was just being in a different system, and obviously not playing for a year. I think that has a lot to do with it, and obviously, from I think week 4 on, I started playing better and better, and towards the end of the season, I was playing where I want to be, and I think that carried over to OTAs and to camp, and obviously I'm way ahead of the curve on where I started last year, so I feel great.
How much did you struggle with heat and humidity here last year compared to what you're going through this year?
This year has been great, and they said last year wasn't even that bad either, so I haven't had a true Spartanburg camp yet, but I think last year, the last few days, it got up to about 100-degree heat index, and it was pretty hot the last few days. But I think it's good. It gets you in shape. It gets your cardio up, and when teams come and play us early in the year, they're not used to this heat and humidity, so it's actually home field advantage for us.
It seemed to bother you a little bit last year, though.
What's that?
It seemed to bother you early in camp last year.
It's hot, man. It's different being in Southern California or Minnesota. I mean, the humidity is different out here, but it takes a little bit to get used to, and it's not really a big deal now. So
you guys have had a couple injuries already in camp. Is there anything that coaches can do to limit the injuries in practice or training camp? Because it seems like each team is getting.
Yeah, it's just freak things that happen. I mean, sometimes you really can't control it, and you want to play aggressive out here, and you want to go full speed and kind of get a game type simulation, but at the same time, we got to be smart, and I think as what we can do as veterans and as players is, if we got a guy and he's about to fall, about keeping guys up, staying off the ground. But I mean, sometimes those things are out of control. There's a lot of guys flying around on the field at the same time. So,
what do you do in California in the off season for fun? I mean, like what's that look like for you?
Yeah, I'm a pretty laid back guy. I'll go to like Six Flags. I like going on roller coasters and stuff like that. Going back to my alma mater, USC, training out there a little bit, going to the beach in LA. I'm pretty laid back, not nothing too crazy.
Have you been to Carowinds yet?
What's that?
Have you been to Carowinds?
I have not been to Carowinds yet. Yeah. I think they're affiliated with like Knott's, right?
Yeah.
And I never fit on those rides, so I didn't even attempt it. So
They've
if they're
got-
listening, hopefully they get bigger roller coasters. So that would be nice.
They have pretty well-known roller coasters.
Okay.
You're serious though? Have you been to a Knott's where you could?
Yeah, there's Knott's Berry Farm in California, and I don't fit on any of the rides, so a little too tall.
But Disneyland, you can.
Disneyland a little bit, but Six Flags is where it's at.
Six Flags.
Six Flags is where all the rides are at. So
Does Norv seem happier or whatever this year than maybe he was that last year in Minnesota? He's good with it.
it's that last year was a weird year. I was injured, so I wasn't around the team a lot, and obviously what happened over there. But now he's loving it out here, and he's been in great spirits, and that's all you can ask for.
What was
So.
your interpretation of what happened there?
What's that?
What was your interpretation of what happened?
I don't know. I'm not in that front office, so. But I'm just glad he's here, and he's our offense coordinator, so we're lucky to have him.
Ron, you described him as a very energetic guy.
Oh, he is very energetic. Gets us going. Great coach. Attention to detail. So anything you can ask for in a great coach like that. So.
Now you talked about your health. Is this as healthy as you've been in a while?
I just feel great. I'm glad to be out here and be playing, be healthy, and getting after it. So.
Matt, Blaine Clausel's kind of moved up a little bit on the depth chart. What do you see from him, his potential?
He's learning. He's getting better every day. I think he's a guy that can compete for some type of spot on the active roster. And every time I've seen him, he's getting better and better. He's got quick feet. He's a big guy, long arms, tall. Anything you can ask for in a tackle prospect. So he's been doing well, and he keeps improving.